I'm sorry, what did you say this fine was for? I asked, squinting at the yellow slip of paper taped to my ranch gate. My dog, Buddy, a golden retriever with more energy than a toddler on candy, was panting beside me, confused why we had stopped. The paper read in bold black letters, "Notice of violation, $750 fine, unauthorized dog walking on HOA grounds." Except, I wasn't on HOA grounds. I was on my land, my 50-acre ranch that I bought with my own savings after retiring from 20 years in the Army. And the person standing smugly behind the gate, arms crossed in a crisp HOA uniform polo, was none other than Brenda Wiggins, president of the Willow Creek HOA, and possibly the most entitled person west of the Mississippi. "You can't fine me for walking my dog on my own ranch," I told her, my voice calm but tight. Brenda didn't even blink. "Actually, we've updated the boundary lines. Your walking path now crosses into the protected commons, and per our new regulation, dogs must be carried or transported on HOA land." Buddy barked, as if laughing. I couldn't help but chuckle bitterly. "You've got 10 days to pay," she added with a smirk. "Failure to comply means daily fines of $100. I leaned against the fence, heart racing. I had dealt with some petty people in my life, but this was a new level. That night I opened my laptop. I didn't just want to fight this, I wanted to end it, and I knew just how. 3 months later, Brenda called an emergency HOA meeting. The entire neighborhood was buzzing. People were panicking, some were yelling, because every inch of open land surrounding Willow Creek HOA had been bought. Every trail, every strip of sidewalk easement, even the decorative lake Brenda liked to kayak in on weekends. Every bit of it now had a new owner. Me. And the new owner had posted signs all around the community. No trespassing, private property, neighborhood access revoked until further notice. Now Brenda was banging on my ranch gate, yelling, "You can't just ban us, this is harassment." I stepped out, holding the deed in one hand and my phone in the other, recording every second. "Actually," I said, "I can." And I just did. But what happened next shocked even me. Let me take you back to where all this really started, because it didn't begin with the fine or the shouting. It started with something much simpler. Peace. I moved to Willow Creek Ranch 2 years ago. I'd just retired after decades of military service. The goal was simple: quiet mornings, coffee on the porch, and a wide field for Buddy to run around in. I wanted peace. That's all. The ranch sat on the outskirts of a gated community, not part of the HOA, not even close. It was separated by a wide gravel path, a few trees, and barbed wire fencing. I'd bought it for the space, not the neighbors. But Brenda Wiggins had other plans. She'd introduced herself on my first week there, clipboard in hand and a false smile pasted on her red lipsticked mouth. Brenda was in her mid-50s, blonde bob haircut, and the kind of person who turned neighborhood watch into neighborhood war. "Oh, hi, you must be the new rancher," she chirped. "You're technically outside our community, but we do like to maintain a certain standard in the area." I smiled politely, but Buddy instantly didn't like her. He growled quietly. I should have trusted his instincts. The first few months were calm. I kept to myself. Buddy and I took daily walks along our dirt paths, watched sunsets from the pasture, and every so often waved at the occasional jogger from the nearby HOA houses. Then the complaint started. First, it was a letter. "Dear sir, your dog's barking echoes across the southern hedgerow. Please consider training him to bark less." Then it was the landscaping. "Your overgrown tree limb extends approximately 3.5 feet into HOA airspace. Kindly trim it." Then, the fireworks. 4th of July, I lit a few sparklers and a Roman candle for Buddy and me. It wasn't even loud, but Brenda reported me to the fire marshal claiming I was operating explosive devices near a residential zone. That complaint didn't stick, but it planted the seed. Brenda didn't want me near Willow Creek. She wanted control. Still, I stayed calm. I'd dealt with worse under more dangerous conditions. This was just a woman with a rulebook and a megaphone. But then came the day that set everything in motion. It was a sunny Saturday. I had just finished mending one of my fences. Buddy needed his run, so I clipped on his leash and headed down a quiet dirt trail. The path curved near the backside of the HOA's southern border, well within my land. Unbeknownst to me, a hidden camera had been installed on a tree across the boundary. By Monday morning, a yellow fine notice was plastered on my front gate. $750, unauthorized dog walking. I laughed at first. I truly did. Thought it was some kind of bad prank. But then I saw the seal at the bottom. Willow Creek HOA Disciplinary Committee. And then I saw Brenda walking away, clipboard in hand. I called the HOA office. The woman who answered, Rachel, said, "Sir, we've reviewed the footage. You were seen stepping into HOA-controlled common land. All pet movement across that trail is a violation." I asked for the map. She sent me a digital version. They had redrawn the boundary. The trail? It was now partially inside Community Buffer Zone A. I looked at my old map. That zone didn't exist before. They created it just to trap me. And suddenly, it clicked. Brenda wasn't just trying to annoy me, she was baiting me. She wanted a reaction. I could have gone to court, I could have fought the fine. But I knew Brenda. That would only fuel her fire. So instead, I played her game. Quietly, I hired a property attorney named Vincent, who specialized in land zoning and private acquisitions. He was ruthless in the best way. We identified plots of land adjacent to Willow Creek, plots the HOA used but didn't technically own, trails, parks, community event spaces, all privately held by a company in Florida, who hadn't developed them in years. Vincent made an offer. They accepted. Then we kept going. An abandoned orchard used as a nature walk? Bought. A pond they held summer cookouts by? Bought. Even the small gravel parking lot the HOA used as a visitor overflow area? Mine. I kept it quiet for 2 months. Then I posted the signs, and the neighborhood lost its mind. People called, they emailed, some begged, others threatened. Brenda? She raged. She called the sheriff, the mayor, and even local news. But I had all the deeds, all the paperwork, all legal. So when she stormed my gate demanding I remove the signs, I didn't just show her the documents. I pulled out a sealed letter from my lawyer, too. But as I handed it to her, something unexpected happened. Brenda ripped it in half and spit on my gravel driveway. "I'm not scared of you," she hissed. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked back into my ranch house with Buddy. And that night, something happened on my property line that changed everything. That night, long after the sun had gone down and the cicadas had started their chorus, I sat on my porch sipping sweet tea while Buddy laid beside me. The moonlight glowed over the fields and everything felt quiet again, until it didn't. A sudden rustling came from the fence line. At first I thought it might be a coyote or a stray deer, but Buddy's ears perked up, and then came the growl, low and warning. I grabbed my flashlight and walked quietly toward the source of the noise. As I neared the edge of my ranch where Brenda had previously thrown her tantrum, the beam of light caught something metallic. My heart dropped. There, on the ground, were bolt cutters. And right beside them, fresh tire tracks in the dirt, heading straight toward my field. Someone had tried to cut through my ranch fence. I followed the tracks with caution. They didn't go far, just about 10 feet past the broken section before the vehicle must have turned around. But it was enough to make a point. Brenda, or someone sent by her, had trespassed. Now it wasn't just about a fine or a grudge. It was criminal. I called the sheriff immediately and filed a report. He promised to send a deputy in the morning. I spent the night by the front window with Buddy at my feet, my shotgun nearby, not to hurt anyone, just to protect what was mine. The next day, I installed trail cams on every inch of my property's perimeter. And then I did something even Brenda didn't see coming. I built a wall, not just a symbolic one. A real 8-foot privacy fence made of reinforced cedar and steel posts, surrounding every inch of my land that touched the Willow Creek HOA. It took 2 weeks. The workers were fast, and I paid well to keep it quiet. When the wall went up, the complaints came pouring in. How dare you block our view? You're ruining the neighborhood's aesthetic. We demand you tear it down. One woman screamed that her daily walk felt claustrophobic without the view of my open fields. Brenda marched down to the county office trying to get it labeled a visual hazard. The clerk informed her the wall was on my property and met every building code. By the time the fence was finished, the HOA's fury had reached its boiling point. They were locked in. No trails, no emergency access, no lake use, no overflow parking, no buffer zone, just a wall, and signs, and silence. But I didn't stop there. I had my lawyer send a formal cease and desist to the HOA, banning any member of their association from stepping foot on my land. Violation meant prosecution. Some neighbors were livid, others were curious. A few even approached me privately to apologize and admit Brenda was out of control. One such neighbor was Tony Martinez. Tony lived in a modest 2-story house near the edge of the community. He was in his early 40s, a quiet guy with a wife, a teenage daughter, and a love for grilling. I just wanted to say, Tony told me one afternoon, I think what they did to you was wrong. Brenda speaks for herself, not all of us. I appreciated the words. Honestly, I did. But my guard was still up. I don't hold it against the whole neighborhood, I said. But I won't tolerate threats on my land. Not anymore. Tony nodded. I get it. But if you ever need help fixing fences or anything, I owe you one. Just say the word. That conversation planted a seed in my heart. Not everyone in Willow Creek was a Brenda. Some were just stuck under her rule. But my moment of reflection was short-lived, because that very weekend, I received another letter. This time it wasn't taped to my gate. It was delivered directly to my ranch by certified mail. Inside was a crisp legal document complete with stamped seals and a bold heading, Cease and Desist Order, Nuisance Wall and Violation of Community Harmony. Signed, Brenda Wiggins, on behalf of the Willow Creek HOA Board. They were trying to sue me for building a wall on my land. I stared at the document, then laughed so hard I nearly dropped my tea. The HOA had just declared war, so I declared something of my own. The very next morning, I met with Vincent, my lawyer, and we put together a development plan, not to build condos or homes. No, I planned to turn the buffer zones into a private wildlife sanctuary. No trespassing, no access, no HOA approval needed. But the best part? I was going to host a public ribbon-cutting event and not invite a single neighbor. That move alone caused chaos at the next HOA board meeting. Vincent got a copy of the minutes. Apparently, Brenda screamed, "He's trying to build a zoo next to our homes. A zoo! What if there are bears?" Spoiler, no bears. Just some rescued deer and foxes. But I didn't correct her. The fallout from the lawsuit filing got worse for the HOA. Some neighbors were furious that their dues were being used to fight a rancher on land he clearly owned. People started showing up to meetings demanding Brenda step down. Flyers popped up on doorsteps reading, HOA fees rising, but for what? Who's really protecting our community? That's when Brenda got desperate. She came back to my gate again, but this time she